Bang! Neevesknives. I'm Jared, and I'm a little late tonight because I had some internet issues. I know nobody's in here yet, but that's okay. I'm just going to continue talking for those of you that show up later. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight for some knife talk for dummies. We got a lot of really cool knife talk. We're going to talk about some dual grit edges. We're going to talk a little bit about D2. The Mannix, I'll repeat this a couple times because a lot of people have asked me about the Mannix 2XL. Why can't they get it no more? Why is it always sold out? I got a link for one right now you can get. It's actually in the video I posted today. Today is 9/25/2001. And there is a Mannix XL down in my links in that video. You can find it. So those of you that are, oh yeah, you guys see my shirt? I'm pretty badass now. But the Mannix 2XL, there is some, I don't know if it's just one, I don't know how many, but I got a link for one. I found a link today. I was surprised because I haven't seen a Mannix 2XL for sale in a long time. And I'll tell you what, guys, I've been offered double the money for mine. And this thing's only, I think it's $158 or $156. So if you've always wanted a Mannix 2XL, I would jump on that thing fast. And it'll help the channel because you guys will be using my links. How's everybody doing tonight? I see everybody coming in here. I appreciate everybody joining me. I know we're late. I had some internet issues. The Mannix 2XL though is in the links of my video that I posted earlier today. We're also, what's up, Meg? Fiend, Q Ball, Dwayne. I also want to thank, I think, is that the link? Don't post the link, man. I need them to use my link in my description. Otherwise, I won't make no money. I appreciate everybody using the links because this month was our biggest month ever for the links. We made the most money ever on this channel from links, and it's thankful to you guys. I really appreciate you guys using the links in my videos down in the description. Now, for those of you that do not know, it benefits the channel even if you purchase something else, as long as you use the links to get to Amazon from my channel. You can, like, say if I link a blue Picaro or whatever, CV Picaro, and you say I want the brown one, but I didn't link the brown one. Well, once you get there, just pick the brown one. It'll still work out. Or say if you say, you know, I went here looking at Kubies, but I decided I want a fucking couch. Well, get yourself a couch too, because that would definitely benefit the channel. So let's get into this. But yes, thank you everybody that's been using the links. It really does help the channel, and I do appreciate it. It is a small portion that we make from everybody's purchase, but it all adds up, you know. And like I said, this month was a really good month from you guys. I appreciate it. Dual grit edges. That's what we're going to start off with. We got a lot of topics, man. I got a few pages here, so we might as well get started. Dual grit edges. Now, I've gotten a bunch of questions about, well, what is it with dual grit edges? How does it work? What's up, bud? Mike Emler's in the house. Oh yeah, before we get into the dual grit edges, Stasa23 sent me some swag and some other stuff. Check this stuff out. Let me make sure you guys can't see nothing. I got this color, and then check out the back. Oh, that's a badass backside. I would show you the backside of mine, but then I'd have to stand up. We got the gray. This is the same one I got. So, got some shirts. And this guy, man, Sasa, man, he's like the best dude ever. Check this shit out. He sent me, I can't believe this. He sent me a concept knife, but not just any concept knife, one of their high-end models. Can you believe that? That's insane. I think this is the Gremlin. I forget the name of this one, But yeah, the backside is badass. But yeah, this thing is a snappy little guy. Oop, that was my fault. It is a very snappy. I really like this green. I don't know. It's kind of like fat carbon. I'm gonna call it fat carbon. Very, very badass. And he sent me some other swag. He sent me I think this is a patch. Yep, a wee Civivi patch, a coin, a Olight. These little Olights, guys, amazing. They're rechargeable, super bright, and these things are like they're like this big. They're tiny as fuck, but really good. And sent me a little pry bar. Kara's already trying to steal this, but I told her, wait, I need it for the damn live tonight because she's already wanting to pry stuff with it. And then we also got a little pin. So we got some. Oh yeah, wait, I'm not done. And we got some badass stickers. Let's check out some stickers. So definitely, man, if you guys aren't subbed, which I know for sure that a couple thousand of you are not subbed to this guy right here, get your asses over to Stasa23 and give him a follow. Please give him a follow. I don't know if this is what stickers are these. Oh, some more. A bunch more. All right. But yes, definitely go and give him a follow. Greatest dude in the community. And what's up, Mom? I see everybody saying hey to my mom. That's how I always know she's in here. So we passed way past the mile marker, I thought, the other day. I remember I was talking about where we were at and where we should be in a couple days. We hit 14.5 today. 14.5. That's insane. So for the 15,000 mark, remember, if you guys probably don't remember because it's been so long ago, around the 8,000 mark, I said, fuck 10,000. We're going right past 10,000. I don't even care about 10,000. I care about the 15,000. So that is going to be the celebration, which the way things are moving, I think my analytics are saying we should be there like tomorrow. So the next live, yeah, it's saying 3.9 thousand followers or subs every month is where we're at. So by this time next month, and it keeps going up. Which it's going to go down. It's going to go down. It's not going to stay there. Of course, it's going to go down. But right now we're on a mountain, I guess, of it going up. 1 million views a month. Wow. So once, or if that keeps going like that, by next month, I mean, we should be getting close to 20K. Now 15K. I'm going to pour some drinks. And we're going to have a good time. So that'll be the next live. Let's get into this dual grit talk. So dual grit knives. Now, what I'm talking about is when you sharpen a knife, you guys might have seen, thank you, Meg. I really appreciate that. When you guys might have seen this on Pete, Cedric, and Ada's channel. Oh man, I missed it. Drink, what do you mean what kind of drinks? I don't know, probably I don't know, I got some whiskey, so probably some whiskey. Dual grit. So you guys might have seen it on Cedric Canada's channel where he sharpened a knife, where he did a polished side on one side of the bevel. So you have two edge bevels, polished, and then a toothy side. And it wound up giving the knife that he tested on Sissel rope, like it gave it like 4 times the edge retention. Like it was insane. Like I was shocked when I seen it. I was like, what? Holy shit. And, I've messed around with different edges and things like that, but, I never would, have done no serious cut test. No cut test that was controlled, put it that way. No cut test that was controlled. So to see him do a controlled cut test and get results like that, it was like mind blowing to me. So, why does it do that? Right? That's the question. So my idea and where I think it winds up getting the benefits is Well, one, I don't remember what grit he did exactly, but it's a polished side. So polished will be basically anything over 2,500 grit. You start getting to polished around 1,500 to 2,000 grit. That's like the transition. And then around 2,500 grit, that's when it's like real mirror. And then like over 3,000, it's very mirror. And then all the way up to like 5,000. Now there's different levels because you can have a mirror polish that still has a small scratch pattern in it, which I think is good. I think you should want that. Aiden, thank you, man. Let the cam girl bell ring. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Um, so when you polish one side, let's say 5,000 grit, 3,000 grit even, and then on the other side go about 600 grit, even lower if you want, but a toothy grit. Or even a little higher, but as long as you can still see a real significant scratch pattern. Like, what is it? Over 1,200 is when you start seeing the scratch pattern start going away and start turning cloudy. So 1,200 and under, you do see a good grit pattern from, whatever abrasive you're using. So if I flip it right here. So my thought process on this is that if you look at this middle one, that would be like a polished edge. Right at the apex of the edge, you have little tiny teeth. Now, a toothy finish would be like this, where you see big teeth. Mike, you're trying to fuck me up. I know it. Thank you, brother. You got to run. I have a huge giveaway planned for when I hit 10K. Awesome, man. You're going to be there in no time, brother. No time. Thank you for the donation. When you look at this, we have a mixture, right? So we have the polished, which is the little teeth, and then all of a sudden you get big jagged teeth, then little teeth, and this would be like on a microscopic level. So this wouldn't be like this, how long the edge would be. This would be like one little tiny millimeter of the edge. I'm just blowing it up as if, think about looking under a microscope. So when you start using this edge now, or here, let me flip to this side. So this is what it would look like if you're looking at this middle line right here. Picture that the very apex of the edge, the very tip of the edge. This is the polished side. Then this is the toothy side. So if you look at that, you can see that these lines, that's the grit pattern going all the way to the very apex, to that middle center line. This would be the edge. And then on the other side, you have the polish, which is going to be little tiny teeth because all the teeth have been polished off, or at least all the big ones. So when you start using it, I think what happens, did I draw it? I don't know if I drew it. But what I think happens is that my camera gets blurry as hell and I get mad. Okay. It's kind of still messed up. So what I think happens is the little teeth wind up getting knocked off. And then the big teeth are there, right? So then the big teeth get knocked off. And once the big teeth get knocked off, you expose the little teeth again. When the little teeth start getting knocked off, all of a sudden you got big teeth again. So I think it's just like, it's like a transition of knocking teeth off like this, where it's like, this is the very tip. You're only hitting these teeth when you're cutting something, and then they get knocked off, and then these are exposed. Then these get knocked off, then these are exposed. And I think that's what winds up happening until they just kind of get rounded out. And then you start getting maybe microchipping, things of that nature, whatever, to make your edge dull. But instead of it being the same grit, right? And then when they get knocked off, they're just knocked off. I that's where my brain wants to go, because you have the polished edge, which is, it's so fine that the toothy edge is just like gouging over it, like, because you have the two sides meeting in the middle. This is just my thought process, my brain thinking, this might not even be what happens. But with this polished side, it's slick. So you have the big teeth hanging over this side. So when they get knocked off, then all of a sudden bam, you got the little micro teeth still there, ready to cut. So, you know, maybe it winds up giving you basically like 2 edges. Maybe and with his test, it seemed like, man, it cut. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was like 3 times as many cuts as normal. But even if it's double, then it would make sense that it's like you're getting 2 different edges out of one knife, out of one sharpening. Now, some people really like symmetrical edges where it's like they look the same. If one side's polished, they want the other side polished. But some people are like, man, I want to get the most performance ever. I don't care about the sight. Which in my case, I like the look of both. I like the look of the dual grit. I don't think it looks bad, you know, and I don't think a lot of people would think it looks bad, but some people really have a problem with stuff not being symmetrical. There we go. I'm gonna have to try this out. Well, I just did a couple. I'll tell you this: the one problem, because this is another thing I want to talk about. The one problem is deburring it. Now, I talked to somebody else, the guy who said that he's the one who told Cedric and Ada about it. I don't know if he's in here or not, but he's the one who I talked to him, and he said, I'm the guy who went to Cedric and Ada and told them about it. And he's like, I've been doing it for a long time. And he was saying that, you know, you're always going to have deburring problems. Like getting the burr off, it is a bitch. Like I almost redid it because I thought I might have did something wrong. But he said that he's had really good results, or should I say the best results, he said, with he takes blue jean, non-stretchable, so actual denim blue jeans or jeans, you know, denim, wraps it around a piece of wood. And then he said he uses a metal polish and some other compound. I forget exactly I didn't write down exactly what he said, but that's what he uses. So I'm going to test that out with some denim and some Veneve compound, because that's a diamond compound. I don't know if it'll work as good as his metal polish compound or whatever he uses, but I got to imagine it worked pretty good because that's a compound 4 edges. It's 4 knives, and it's a diamond abrasive. And I have very aggressive compounds, and I also have all the way up to polished. My aggressive compounds, they'll damn near sharpen an edge, and it's just stropping compound. Serrations besides a polish, never thought of that. Well, not serrations, but a toothy edge, but which is basically that. And if you think about it, that's basically what it does. Think about this. Imagine looking at serrations. What do you have? You have a polished surface and then a tooth, a polished surface, then a tooth. That's kind of like what you're getting with a dual grit edge, with a polished on one side, a toothy on the other side. It's kind of what you're getting. So I'm almost wondering if basically it's making a microscopic serrated knife. All knives, the edge is like a microscopic serrations, all of them. However, with the polished edge, maybe it's more like a serrated knife. My grandpa used to sharpen his knives till they could shave. You know that? Mom, that's what I do. That's what I do, Mom. I sharpen every knife I sharpen will definitely shave hair for sure. Oh, I got one right here. I can't show you my hair, but I've been testing it, but recently did this one. This is a very toothy edge too. I think this is like 600 grit, 300 grit. Very, very toothy, but oh yeah. Oh yeah. I want to talk about these damn Kubies. Holy cow. I am so impressed with these fucking Kubies. Sorry for the F-bomb. These things are so impressive. Where's the other one? In my pocket. So I'll tell you what, the Vagrant I'm the least impressed with just because they chamfer around the hole. Great knife. I like everything else about it, and it works good. It works good. But when you try to compare it to this one, I mean, the flipping action is just so much better on this one compared to this one, but only because of this hole. This hole is kind of tight to get to because it's chamfered. This one, very easy to get to. Super easy, and the detent is so strong on this one. It's like, listen to this. It's so crispy. That's nice. And the detent when it closes, you can really hear it. It's nice and strong, but not too strong. Now, this one is a light detent, but it's so easy to flick. It's hard to fail. This is a knife that if you have trouble reverse flicking, you probably wouldn't on this. Like, I'm trying to fail it right now, but it's not easy to fail. Like, I'm trying to just, there we go. You can fail it because it is a light detent, but man, if you just try, it's going to fly out every time. And this is like the stabbiest blade shape I've seen in a long time. If you guys can see, you guys ain't going to be able to see it, but it is like microscopic. I mean, this thing is, you don't want to mess around with this tip. Like, it'll break for sure. It's that thin, but that also means this thing's going to be super slicey. Nice and thin behind the edge. Whew, it's thin. So it's like, I mean, it's kind of like a Warncliffe, but it's not, because you do have this upswept edge. It's just a triangle, but man, can you imagine the precision with that thing? And then it's very comfortable. Now, I will say in certain grips, like if I hold it like this, no, it's not. But in a regular grip, like a regular hammer grip, that thing is so comfortable. This is a cool little knife. I thought it was kind of ugly. Now, man, I'm in love. Now, there is one huge downfall to all these. We're going to talk about that here in 1 second. But this one, it does kind of look like a budget Koenig. The flipper tab, it's so good. It's so hard to fail. I was trying to fail it. I mean, this thing is not easy. Ooh, that's me trying with all I might. And I can fail any knife if I really want to, but just attempting to flip this thing, it's going to fly every single time. The detent is really strong, but in a really good way. Now, this hole, it's really nice because you can use this top part. So when you go to reverse flick it, I mean, it's kind of like flipping a Spyderco. You know how you, do I have one up here? I don't. You know, like with a Spyderco, you use the top of the hole, like right here, this part, and you push up that way. That's the way this is, and it just works so good. Great access to the lock bar. Stupid smooth on the drop. The thumb flick, very easy. It's nice and slicey. It does have a Koenig Arius look. A little boxy in the hand just because it's broad this way, Mike Emler. Man, awesome knives, man. T8s and a T10 pivot. Yep, T10 pivot. And T8 hardware all the way around aside from the clip. That is so badass. Now, what's the downfall? What's the bad thing? There's one pretty significant bad thing. The clips, guys. The clips. They somewhat suck. Now, I think that might be an easy fix, though, so I'm not trying to tell you guys not to get them, because hands down, I would buy them for sure, especially knowing what I know now. Fuck yeah. And I think it might be an easy fix. Now, what's the problem? The problem is that they did not inset the clip into the scale. So your pants, this doesn't have it's a tight area, and then trying to get over where the screws are on the clip. Come on, you damn camera. You guys know what I'm saying. So trying to get over this little hump right there, it makes it very difficult. And so what I think, there it goes. So what I think is, well, one, they should just inset it. If they inset the clip into the G10, it would fix everything. Everything. Now, one thing, I think these clips will be very easy to replace. I think the screw pattern is a standard screw pattern. You could easily take just about any other clip. That's one way. Number two, And I mean, seriously, like I was trying to match it up and it looks like it fit a lot of clips. But I think you could do one of two things. Either one, you could just bend this up, right? Then I can wedge something right there and fold it back down. Not like ridiculously, but like you see what I did with this one? I kind of lifted it up just a little bit and it works already a lot better. But I'm saying bend it up pretty good, not all the way up, but bend it up, put something right there, and then push it back down so that it makes this right here have a little notch on top of it. Because what happens is your jeans just run right into there. And don't get me wrong, you can just go like that and it'll seat all the way down into your pocket. But it just gets a little irritating because it's like, damn it, I want to just go, not throw your knife, but you want to just go right in the pocket and not have to worry about it. With this, you go in the pocket and then you got to go like that, So not that big of a deal. Now, there's one other way I think might work to fix it. Take the clip off and take let me get another knife. This is the Kaiser Splinter. So, and take right here, right at that little edge right there, and sand it down a little bit. Just literally take this little hump right where your jeans are going to hit and just sand it down just slightly. Sorry, guys. It's a live, so it's not the best focusing schmitty. So, but you guys see what I'm saying. So just right here, file it down just a little bit. Make a little ramp on it. Not to where it makes it disappear. Just literally a little ramp. Like it'll take 30 seconds with the Dremel, 2 minutes with some sandpaper, maybe 1 minute with some sandpaper. But just make it a little softer right there. Chamfer it a little bit right there, just on the edge. Just chamfer it a little bit. I think that would work. 71 watching. I appreciate all you guys watching. Anybody who wants to get the Manix 2 XL, I put a link in the description of the video I posted earlier. There is some available. So the Manix 2 XL, which has been a rare breed. Everybody's been trying to get it. Everybody's been trying to buy mine. Like, I can't find them no more. Well, you got your fucking opportunity right now. I think it's like $150 something. Good deal. Next, I want to talk about D2, right? D2. So I know we're sick of D2, right? We are. And please don't forget to hit the like button if you like the content. If you don't like the content, kick the dislike button right in the nuts for me. Let me know by hitting that dislike button. But I do appreciate all the likes. It does help with the algorithm, and you guys have been amazing. That's why the channel's growing so much. So I appreciate all the likes you guys do give me. Throttle Beholder hates Eminem. Can't imagine why, but he does. What was I talking about? D2. So D2, it's been on everything, right? We see it everywhere. And about 2 years ago, we were screaming for D2, guys. We were. So it's our own fault. Like literally, we were freaking out about D2. So a couple companies started using it and we were like, yes, because before that, where did we see it? On Custom Knives. That's about it. Custom Knives and then a little bit more higher end knives. And so we were like, wow, we can get D2 for this price. And yes, there were some people warning us saying you don't want to get D2 on a production level, but we want it, right? So we were screaming about it. And it kind of took the place of HCR. Shit, at first took the place of a lot of steels. Like it was like basically like the next S35VN kind of or some shit. I don't know. But it was great to see. And it did replace a lot of budget steels that we didn't want anymore. And I think at this point, we're kind of sick of seeing it because there are a lot of other options. There just is. There's a lot of other options. However, D2 for the right price is a great steel. We still have to remember that. There's nothing wrong with D2. Now, if you have a problem with corrosion resistance and you don't like coated blades, well, then maybe it's not your steel because, yeah, it does have some corrosion issues unless if you get it coated. if you keep it dry, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad because it's almost a stainless. It's very close to being a stainless, but it's not quite. Um, anyways, I think it's like 12 or 13% chromium is what's considered stainless. I forget what D2 is. Anyways, but there were some issues with it for a while. There were a lot of companies putting it out. Some companies were lying. They weren't telling the truth at all. Other companies were saying that, or not saying, but they were giving us D2, and then here to find out it was shit. It was D2. It was real D2, but it was shit. Hey, Project Next, man. 20 bones. Thank you, man. Hell yes in the comments. If you're fidgeting your knives in the comments, still love D2. You know what? I'm going to get to that because I'm going to get to that. So, D2. So, we found out that there were a lot of companies doing it pretty shitty. And we found out all the guys that were saying, you don't want D2 in production, like a production D2. They were right? Because it's not easy to do on a production level, at least to the extent of doing it really good. However, some companies have been doing it for a while now. And maybe at first they weren't doing the best. And technically, there were a couple companies doing it pretty good. Even if you take some of the old models, I've seen even Outpost 76 did a cut test on one of their older models, and it did great. Like, I was surprised how good it did. And then when you look at it with the cut test, it does really good, especially for the price. Even on, now, don't get me wrong. Yes, there are going to be some shit companies out there using D2, and it's going to be total crap. Like, you're going to get HCR edge retention. However, I'm talking about credible knife companies that we know are doing a decent job. We are Civivi, Kaiser, Kubi, some of these other companies are doing a pretty good job. You can expect that you're getting your money's worth for the D2, because D2, in all reality, when it's done correctly, it has better edge retention than S30V. And a lot of people they forget that. They forget that D2 has incredible edge retention. It's just not very corrosion resistant. Hell though, what do we scream about 3V? We scream about K390, Maximet, all these steels that are way worse than D2. Way worse. And we'll pay an arm and a leg for those steels because of their insane edge retention. Now, yes, D2 doesn't have insane edge retention like that, but it holds its own in the budget realm, because now taking it out of, say, custom, right? So where you would get S30V edge retention or better, taking it away from there and putting it into a production level heat treats, it's not going to reach that level, but it's still going to be really good. If we take all the budget steels right now, all of them, and did a cut test, D2 would be at the head of the pack, most likely. Especially if you get it from like Civivi or one of those like a reputable company. Obviously, like I said, shit companies, shit results, right? Get what you pay for. But for the price, I don't think we have a leg that I don't think we should be complaining too much. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree that there's so much of it, you just get sick of it. It's like, fuck, man. I don't want my whole collection being D2. It's like, what steel is that one? D2. What steel is that one? D2. What about this one? D2. I know. I don't want that either. And I do like having options, N690, VG10, 154CM, 14C. I like that. So, and I know there are a lot of people that don't want D2 because of the corrosion thing, and that's cool. But I don't think it's too big of a complaint when we're seeing it for the price we're seeing it. Now, yes, when we start seeing it $60-$70, now we can start saying, okay, this better be a badass knife. And then getting it higher than that, now we're saying like, okay, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. But when you're getting it under $60, holy shit, man, because D2, That used to be a super steel 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Drew Beck says Rex 45 pair 3 lightweight Tuesday. Me likey. I like you too. Knife Eclectic says, or Eclectic says 154 is pretty killer. Had good results with N692. Yeah, both of them are really good. I like them both. Oregon, I live in Washington Coast in SoCal. Same here. None of my D2 ever corroded. Mine don't either. I don't have an issue with corrosion with D2. I know some people do though, and I've sent knives out and they come back with some corrosion, so I believe them. But me personally, I don't have the issue. What steels have the best corrosion resistance? Well, the best is going to be like LC200N, Vanek Super Clean. Those are like the best. Um, then VG10, N690 is really good. The best is like, well, don't get it. All right, but H1 is really good, but don't get it. You don't want it. That's like the worst steel in the world. But the steels you do want that are really good, like I said, N690, LC200N, Vanex, but you can't find it. VG10, 14C28N is really good. 9CR is really good. 440C is really good. Yeah, all those are really good. Those are all good stainlesses. Usually, the steels with the insane edge retention can, unless if we're talking, I'm talking about like for today's steels. Like there's carbon steels that those aren't the best or they're not good at all. But for like super steels and stuff like that, not all, but a lot of super steels do not have good edge retention. Now, yes, there are some that have good, or sorry, good corrosion resistance. But yes, there are some that do, like M390 and shit like that. Maurice with the 5 pounds. Thank you, brother. My bell got messed up. Someday do a live stream with Joe at Steel Forge and Fire Swords and Knives. He's a good dude, Jared. Almost 700 subs and climbing. I'm gonna have to check him out. Definitely, I'll check him out. Yeah, I'd have him on. Also can go with Terraventium or tungsten carbide, but they are not steel. Right, they're not steel. So, and there's only like one company using it. That's why when I said Vanex, you can't find it really. You know, you got one company doing it, and then who else? Custom makers. That's about it. All right, next subject. Oh yeah, I did want to kind of say that DC-53. Somebody else kind of looked it over and was saying that it possibly might not get good edge retention. Now I can't confirm that yet. The knife that I did I didn't do a control cut test, but the knife I was testing with did okay. But in a controlled setting, it might not do as good as regular D2. Now it might sharpen up better, it might this better, it might that, but that doesn't mean it's going to get better edge retention. I don't know. And the fact that they said that they were now, maybe it would if they heat treated it as high as they said the potential was. But when I looked at their HRC, they said it was low, like 58 to 60 or something, or 58 to 59, something like that. So I don't know. It would take, you'd have to use it to find out, I guess, and like in a controlled way. Miller, I've seen those. I think it's a company called Hilberg making those. They use. Shit, why are you close it? Okay, let's get to the next subject. A lot of people say XHP is a stainless D2. Just FYI. A lot of people disagree with that. But not saying that XH, like, it would basically mean like the best version of D2, like a stainless version of that. Everybody's used D2. I mean, shit, that's almost all what Medford used to use was D, but he used CPM D2, which is a better version of it. But he's heat treating in small batches, so it's going to get better results. Cue Ball says the Megaron front flipper is so nice. I'm really liking it. Nice, nice. Which one? I got this one right here. I got my thumb problem right now, but I got this one right here. Talking about this one or oh, you're talking about the one with the gold liners? I got that one in the other room. Yeah, CPM D2. Yeah, Eric. That's a powdered version of D2. Cue Ball, the Pagos is my most carried lately. I got that one sitting over there. That's a nice knife. I have my issues with it, but doesn't take away from it still being a nice knife. Great knife. The Acri, I was interested in that one too. Oh yeah, I got the Acri out there. I got the Acri out there. Oh, the other one, what was it? The Verona? That one they're talking about making a 3.5-inch version. So keep your eyes out for that. Because the one I tested it, I think it was like almost 4 inches. It's a big knife. Q and Fiend says, yeah, I just checked. CTS XHP is pretty much D2 with extra 4% chrome. Bang. And yeah, and that's why people say it's basically like it's basically a stainless D2. However, if you listen to knife makers like say Gillian, knife makers that use CTS XHP, they talk about how lovely it is to grind, how it's like really nice to grind. It takes such a good finish. All these little things that like with D2, people don't necessarily say as much. So people have an issue sharpening D2 a lot. Now, why? I think it's just because maybe the large carbides D2 has or something, they have an issue setting the bevel. But what I would recommend is just what the fuck? We got 50 bones coming in or 50 something. What is a knock? Adamantium. Thank you. I don't know what knock is, but I appreciate it, bud. Thank you for the donation. Very much so. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love your channel. Greetings from also Norway. Shout out to Norway. Hell yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Zach's in the house listening while cleaning. Happy Saturday. Thank you, Zach. You're awesome, brother. He did a live with Mike Emler last night. It was an awesome, awesome live. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys should definitely go check it out. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate the donation, man. Always an awesome dude. Amy, what's up, sweetheart? My little cousin right there. Hey, Amy. But I think sharpening D2 though, I think if you just start with a coarse, low grit stone first, make sure you set your bevel perfectly. Like, don't move to the next stone. So, like a 200 grit, something like that. Set your bevels. Make sure you sharpen it really good. Before you move on to the next stone, you'll get amazing results. And don't take it over 800 grit, 1000 grit. I stop at 600 with my D2 and I get amazing results. I mean, I'm talking about fucking, excuse my language, insanely sharp. I'm talking about crazy results, like really, really sharp. I've had D2 surprise the hell out of me. How like incredibly toothy but fine at the same time. That edges like where it's like hair whittling at 600 grit. Awesome. I appreciate that, Brandon. Thank you for checking that out for me. Thought we were getting rich for a second. Woman hands 3.2 is my max for blade length unless it is a machete or a fixed blade. And honestly, a 3.2-inch blade is such a perfect size, even for my hand. Like 3.25 is like I say is like the happy zone because 3-inch is good, 3.5 is great. So 3.25 is like perfect. This I think this is a 3-inch. Yeah, this is a 3-inch right here, and I love this thing. Let me make sure. I don't want to be a liar. Exactly 3 inches. This is exactly 3 inches. You see the handle? I can get a full 4-finger grip on it because there's no flipper tab. This is an awesome little knife. The Kubi KU321. Amazing. Then we have the Kubi something. This is the 122. Amazing little knife. This one's got a full-size blade, though. This one's got to be 3.5, probably. Yeah, 3.5. 3.4, basically. I am bidding on a 177. Hell yeah. When should I call it quits? Okay, so they normally land around 150. Don't go over 150. And I'm saying that because you can get it for 150. So don't go over 150 because you can just buy it outright for 150. Now, I would say if you're bidding on it, I wouldn't go over like 130, 140, just because you can just go right over there and pay the extra $10 and get it. So, but, and it'll take the same amount of time. 12,500. Damn, those are some damn sharp knives. I am bidding. Oh, I already read that one. Okay, so let's get to this next thing. I already read that. We'll go back to that one because we've been talking about edges. I can go to 30,000, but not everyone likes to pay for the extra time. But damn, it looks good. I think it looks good depending on the steel. So certain steels, I think it looks good and it's badass and it's very, very sharp. I think some steels, a lot of steels don't accept it because the point of an edge is to have microscopic serrations. Now, I'm not saying that certain steels don't do very well with it because a lot of them do, but then there's a lot of them that don't. A lot of them you'd way rather have a lower grit. Polishing it just makes it too slick. There's no teeth. It's kind of like having a saw blade. Picture having a saw blade and you just rip all the teeth off. Now you just have a sheet of metal and you're trying to cut things with it. Why is it cutting still then? Because the apex is so thin and so fine, you're basically just cutting with thinness, with fineness. But with certain steels, though, you can polish it all the way down and you still have those little microscopic teeth. But when you go up so high, like 30,000, like there's like almost nothing left. That's why my 5,000 grit Neeves, they're 100%. So if I had the 25%, it would be finer, meaning the diamond emulsion inside of it or whatever is like 25%. Mine are 100%. So at 5,000 grit or 3/2 micron, it's polished, but there's still grit. You can still see little microscopic lines here and there, even though it's super reflective, it's super mirror, you can read off of it and everything, but there's still a ton of bite at the edge. I love that. 30,000 on S90V. Doinks. Yeah, almost glows. It's so shiny. Some are for show, some are for work. Some knives look good when some do. Yeah, I agree. I like doing a polished edges. I think a lot of knives look great with a polished edge, but I also think a lot of knives look great with a toothy finish too. Some edges just look so damn good with the grit lines. I love the look of a nice flat bevel with perfect grit lines. I personally probably like it a little bit more than a mirror. Just looking at those damn grit lines, it just looks so good. I should grab a knife right now and show you guys. Okay, sweetheart, say goodnight and good night to all your friends. Thank you for saying hi. Hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you, Mom. I love you. Good night. Thank you for joining us for a little bit. Oh, I need some 1,200 times 100%. Yes, D2 and others have large carbide structure. So from my understanding, the coarser grits sort of complement that. Right, exactly. Yeah, some you are gonna get ones though that have larger carbides that do good with a polish because there's so much. There's so much carbides. Now, where people sometimes have problems is microchipping with it. But yeah, they take an aggressive edge, like Maximet or K390. Holy shit! When you talk about a toothy finish, it's crazy how toothy it is. Hey, Meg, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. 20 pounds. We're moving up. We're moving up. Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, I tell my customers that 5,000 to 8,000 is plenty. Agree. No need to waste time and lose the benefit of working edge. Absolutely. And it looks great. It looks beautiful. That's the thing. It's a polished edge. It looks beautiful. So going up higher than that, you're going to get a little tiny bit more meter out of it, but barely. But you're gonna lose the benefits of the edge, or you can. You have the potential to. But no, some steels though are going to do great with it, and then it's like, why not? I think it just depends. It also depends on the person because a showpiece, I would definitely do a mirror polish on a showpiece. Fuck yeah. Um, Now like certain knives that I do, like I like to show off the tooth. I like to show off the grit because looking at the grit lines when you can see them nice and flat. I'm gonna grab a knife. Fuck this. I gotta show you guys. Let me grab one. What do I got here? This one's pretty good. I'll just grab these two. Just because they're thick behind the edge, so they're like big. But look at if it'll come up. It might not come up. Let's see how we can do this. It's not going to show. Damn it. And everything's backwards. I feel crazy in this thing. All right, it's not going to show, but a nice flat edge bevel with the grit lines, the grit pattern just looks so damn good. Let's see if we can go this angle. I bet you we can. Nope, it's not going to do it. Camera's not good enough, and we're live. So, next subject. Oh yeah, so I'll talk about that later. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard, but KPL came out with a new lubricant, a very, very light lubricant. I haven't tried it. I'm not going to recommend it because their regular stuff is so good and their KPL heavy I like better than their light stuff. So I don't know if the extra light stuff will be any good or not. Yeah, if it's a working knife in a commercial kitchen, then 2,000 to 5,000 is more than plenty. They just blow through knives all day and no need to go to. Yeah, right. Because you're just going to go through the edge anyways. I've heard that with certain stuff, depending on what you're cutting in your kitchen, a toothy edge is really good. And then I've heard like a fine edge is good for other things. It just kind of depends on what you're cutting, like whether it's meat or whether it's like fish. If you're skinning fish, then maybe a finer edge would be really good. If you're cutting certain types of meat, then maybe a little bit lower. Like personally, me with like EDC, regular EDC stuff, rope, straps, cardboard, plastic, tape, stuff like that. 600 grit works the best in my opinion. Now, there are some steels that do great with a polish. Some steels. All steels do great at 600 grit in my opinion. All of them. Some steels do really good with a polished finish, but those same exact steels will do good with a 600. So just, kind of, and then also 600 is easy to put back on it. A lot easier than a polish. I cut everything in the kitchen. I used a kukri to cut up a whole pineapple about a month ago. Sounds like good times right there. Good times. I'm gonna have to try that one. Toothy edge on a thin behind the edge grind works best for veggies. Right. Maurice, hey bud, thank you, man. Thank you so much, man. I'm still the pride and joy of Illinois, but now I live in Alabama, and my dream is to someday have Neevesknives sticker. Get a hold of me on Instagram if you got it. Yeah, get a hold of me on Instagram. I'll send you a sticker. Send me your address. Thanks for the donation, man. I appreciate it. What the hell was I about to say? Oh yeah, in the kitchen with the toothy edge. especially when it's thin behind the edge, man. Sometimes it's so thin that a palette and an angle matters, right? Because if your angle is like 25 degrees, then polishing the edge, your edge is going to be slick as snot. Like you're not going to have no bite at all. You could like literally probably put it against your skin and go like this and it won't do nothing. So having the right angle, depending on the grit, is going to be a big deal. But a toothy edge will always cut, even at a high angle. Of course, if you put the edge back and you lay it back, say, to 15 degrees per side, yes, it's going to cut even better. But the teeth are going to do the cutting on if you have a high angle. That's my point. Yeah. Dan Sharp Knife says, yes, fish finer, 5,000 to 8,000 for a nicer kitchen. I actually heard that exact same thing that you're saying. They said 7,000. The guy I was listening to that's a professional. Oh, shit. There it goes. Sushi Kitchen like their knives pretty sharp. Nope, going to 8,000 for them or they will reject it. No shit. But yeah, like I said, the person that I was listening to, they said 7,000 grit is like, they said when you're filleting fish and cutting fish and, especially when you have those big honkers that you slap on a table and, go down. Yeah, buddy. I want to do that one day. Get one of them fish. I mean, I flayed some big fish, but never none of those ones that you pick up like this and slap on the table. That'd be awesome. So I got a bunch of comments about in a video where I said, and I'm sure a couple of you guys are in here. I said, what did I say? How did I say it? I said, I don't worry about slipping up the blade because I can just squeeze it. That's what I said. I can just squeeze it. Now, a lot of people, I've heard this just so much that people say, I worry about because they don't have this right here where it stops them from slipping up the blade. They worry on, say, a knife like this that doesn't have that they'll slip up the blade. Now, I don't worry about that. The reason why I don't worry about that is because I have hands, and my hands can squeeze. My point is that can you imagine me having a hammer that I swing and hit nails with all day, up in the sky, everywhere, upside down, and I have a finger guard on it? No, right? Why don't I need one on my hammer? Well, because I can squeeze it. Just like when I lift weights, right? I don't need a finger guard with weights. I can, yes, I guess some weights they rest on your hand, so it's a little different. But my point is that even think about this, like when you take a knife and you stab it into a table. Yes, it's nice to go like this to make sure you're not going to slip down it, but you can bet you can still do it, right? Without doing it. Like right now, I could stab right into this damn table without a problem. So, and usually I'm not doing that. And if I do that, I'm going to do it backwards like this with my thumb over the back, bam, like that. Now, in this position, if I do go to stab into something, wrap your thumb around your pointer and you're not going to slip up your blade. And if you do slip up your blade, I'm sorry. All right? Go fuck yourself. Use a finger guard then. I just personally don't worry about it. I just squeeze harder. It's not that big of a deal to me. I've used a lot of knives that I'll tell you what, I used to worry about that. I used to think that was an issue. Then I was using knives like this where you don't really have a finger guard and you get right up tight to that blade. And I realized the benefits of being nice and close to that blade where you can just do like repeat cuts and not have to worry about the object jumping into the I need to tighten this, jumping into the choil. So I put some Loctite on that one. Yeah, gotta put some Loctite on it. All right. Okay, so I'm bringing this one up. Somebody brought it to my attention. They are in here, so let's talk about it. Asher Knives. The person in here already knows what I'm talking about. So Asher Knives might be having some problems with their OEM. I don't know any details. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it because it's probably not my story to talk about. LTK had a steel testing video where he brought up a knife that was literally one of Asher Knives' designs. But it wasn't an Asher knife. It was another design. And it was in D2. So what the fuck is going on? Did his OEM steal his design and sell it on Amazon as his own? Is he labeling Asher Knives design like literally because maybe he makes them? You know, the OEM, the company that would be building and making Asher Knives' knives, are they taking his design and selling them as their own and thieving, right? Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know anything. Like, really, I don't know anything. All I know is that there's a knife out there that is his identical design in D2 being sold with a different name on it. And I know that in the beginning, that same company, his OEM, screwed him over. I'm the guy who got the knife and went and had it tested. LTK had it tested. It came back as 440C. I still got it sitting right over there. And that's when we found out that it wasn't S35VN. Now, we brought it to Asher Knives' attention, and he was just as surprised as anybody, right? He didn't do it. It wasn't him. He purchased them. He thought it was real S35VN. It's not like he was trying to get over on anybody. And I remember talking to him personally, and he was like sick. Like he was so upset, like really upset, because he felt horrible. He's sitting here trying to bring a reputable company to the market in an honest way, and the guy's such a good guy, and then he has to go to the community and say, hey, I accidentally sold you guys the wrong steel. Can you imagine? So right here, inner city pigeon. Sorry, but fuck China. Not sorry. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that in a second too. But so they already have the reputation of doing that. Now they did come back with some sorry ass excuses, in my opinion. Sorry ass excuses. I mean, just the dumbest excuses ever to me, in my opinion. But an excuse nevertheless. And I think I don't know if he continued working with them or not. They did replace the blades, so they fixed it, right? And I don't ever foul anybody that fixes the issue, right? If I fuck you over by accident and I fix it, big deal, right? Get over it. And they did fix it, and so far everything's been good. Till now. But I'd like to say, kind of like what Pigeon was saying, there are certain companies in China, right? You can say fuck all of China. I don't care. I mean, I say fuck all of China too. There are a couple companies though that a lot of them from the knife industry that I do deal with and that I like. And some of them I don't trust whatsoever. Not at all, not even a fucking little bit. But then there's a handful that have a very good reputation. And if you talk to them, and deal with them, you realize they're good people. Like they love knives just like us, and they hold a strong reputation. Like you can tell, like kind of like companies like Reat, right? So like Reat, if you guys knew what the knife makers, designers made off of their designs, you would realize that Reat is making a good deal for Americans. Meaning it's a win-win for both parties, right? For both parties, it's a win-win. It's not like China sitting there selling you shit and ripping you off and everything else. Nope. They're bringing you the best product you could possibly buy and making it to where you can make a great profit off of it. And then they make a little profit. And it works out for the maker or the designer. But there are going to be some companies like he's dealing with, and I would say that when you deal with a company from China that's not reputable, then you can possibly run into issues like this. And Lindy Lou is telling me I sent Asher a message months ago because I found a clone on Amazon and he never replied. Well, I don't know exactly the conversation. I didn't have a conversation with him about it, but I guess LTK did. I don't know how it went. But I imagine my thoughts didn't go well, probably. I imagine he was probably pretty upset and he probably got your message and seen it. And he probably got very upset. Um, and he probably didn't know what to do. You know, I don't know why he wouldn't reply. He is a good dude. He replies to anything I ever send him. And maybe I have no idea, right? I'm not going to make any excuses for him. Just certain companies, man. There's a reason. It's fucking China, man. It's fucking China. What can you do, right? Like that's why I think that it's good to stick with reputable companies, even if they're from China. I don't mean like reputable USA companies. I mean reputable Chinese companies. There's a lot of them, but they actually hold like they're if you talk to them and deal with them, and you see the reputation from the other people in the knife industry that have had such good results with them, then you feel better about working with them. But some of these other companies, man, they're not going to be afraid to cut your throat. You can guarantee it. So you do got to be careful with pinching your pennies, right? Because that's what it winds up boiling down to. It's like I can make the best money off of this. They can bring me the best product for this money, and it's less than this guy, and blah 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 blah. And I'm sure in the end it winds up working out great for you. No, not in the end. I'm sure in the beginning it works out great for you, but in the end you wind up paying. And I hate that for them. Now, clones, because man, I posted. Thank you, Fiend. I appreciate you always in here throwing up some links for me, man. I really do. Oregon Knife Guy is looking for strapping compound on Amazon, and I was wondering which brand you recommend. What was it? Beavercraft? Beavercraft is good. I like Beavercraft. They're not bad. I've gotten their compounds and their leather. The leather's really good. So yeah, you can go with them. They're good. Um, there's a bunch of good companies. The best that I've seen, like that you can get, is from sharpeningsupplies.com. Aside from like the best of the best, I'm talking about like just regular strapping compound, the green and the white compounds. The best I've seen is from sharpeningsupplies.com. But from Amazon, the beaver stuff, man, that stuff's fire. I love that shit. That's just really good leather. The compounds are pretty good too. Breeze, China's been cloning stuff for years. Only one way to fix it, unfortunately, and that's an economically viable solution. Yeah, I know, and this is what I want to say about it. Because the other day when I posted that one video, two videos, man, I got so much shit about me fucking because of the Serge Panchenko designed knife, right? It's a clone. It's a clone. Maurice, thank you, brother. I appreciate the donation again, man. Always coming in here, dropping them dollars. Thank you, man. Sharpening supplies. What the fuck? I've spent half of my life savings there. Sharpeningsupplies.com. I like them. I really like them. Great family, great company, awesome people. But I wasn't like trying to like advertise clones. I literally did a video based on Amazon purchases that were random. I mean, I'm talking about like buy that, right? Like just Amazon purchases. I seen it. I didn't know if it was a real Panchico design or not. I literally did random purchases in order to do a video. I did the video, and one of them happened to be a clone. Fucking kick me in the nuts. I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, it's not like it's going to be on the channel again. I know it's a clone now. At first, I didn't even know it was a clone. I wasn't sure. Like, I did a first impressions basically on it. Like, it's not like I sat there and tested them and looked them up and everything. When I put up the pictures of the knife, I do that after I record. So it's not like I had those pictures and all the information before that. Anyways, my point is that clones are fucking shitty, and I don't like them. I don't care about knives that look similar or knives that look a lot like this knife or are inspired by this knife. I don't give a shit about those. Every knife is inspired by another knife. You're never going to tell me any different. If I can show me a knife, I can show you a knife that looks very similar, right? Uh, that was done before. Like that's just life. There's only so many blade shapes, only so many handles, and a lot of knife people are inspired by other people. It's just facts. It's life. But cloning, I do not agree with. I don't like to show them on the channel. I don't like them at all. I've shown them a couple times. Um, just because of like a couple cool ones that literally would have no effect on the real thing. Um, like what was it that damn cleaver, that big ass I can't remember the name of it now. But anyways, that giant knife, right? It was like $50. Nobody would ever think that that was the $1,000 real thing, right? It's just, so there are some times when it's like whatever. But usually though, I'm not gonna show that shit on my channel. I won't show that shit on my channel. I don't want to throw any light to it because you guys got to remember, I'm friends with a lot of these guys. I like these guys. I don't want to. I would hate to sit here and advertise a clone and then become friends with one of these guys. Can you imagine if they had a knockoff of the sea snake and I'm sitting here advertising it, and then I talk to Mike and he finds out like I'm sitting here advertising a knife that was stolen from him and fucking up his sales because somebody's trying to make it seem like it's one of his knives. Like I'd feel horrible. So I don't want to do that, and I do think that's a piece of shit thing. But they don't have the same rules as us. The CCP is literally just trying to win on the world stage, and they're willing to go to the lengths that a lot of countries aren't, and they are winning. Okay, get it straight. They're winning. We're losing, big time. So I don't want to get into politics. Hey, thought I heard something. But I don't want to get into politics or anything like that. But it is what it is, man. We're shitting the bed. Anyways, let's get to the next fucking knife topic. What time is it? 8:52. All right. Man, I'm never gonna get to all this. I'll skip a couple things. So definitely go check out Grateful Panic knife reviews. Here is the link. Thank you, Fiend. Hey, Serge, I was flicking your. Yeah, exactly. You guys get it. I don't like that shit, man. And anybody who gives me shit for bringing it up, man, just know, like, I've made it very clear I don't like that stuff. I don't care what anybody does with their own money. I will never be in any man's pocket. I promise you that. I'll never tell you what to do, not to do. If you want clones and you want to buy clones, do whatever you want. I won't talk shit to you. I won't say nothing negative. That's just not me. I'm not that guy. I'll never be in your pocket. I'll never tell you how to spend your own money. When I say I believe in like freedom and I believe like what you do and what I do are two separate things, and I'll never give you shit for doing it. That's how I feel. So, but for me personally, I don't like it. I won't do it. But like I said, I don't give a shit if you do. I just don't like it. Oh yeah, Walmart knives. So this is kind of just a little topic really quick I wanted to talk about because I find myself having an issue with this, and I don't know, maybe you guys do too, maybe not, maybe it's just me. But when I see some knife companies, and there are some that I used to really like Kershaw, right? Kershaw, especially their USA line. I used to love getting those from Walmart. Now, however, the knives that I see in Walmart, like, put it this way, a really nice knife that's out. Right? There are a couple that I really like, but only because I like them from the past. But say a couple knives are out. They're really good knives, and they're being sold in Walmart. I don't want to carry them now. I do not want to carry them. For some reason, I have it in the back of my head. Maybe it's some bougie shit for knives. Maybe it's knife snobbery. But for some reason, I don't. I know they do, Russ. I know. But for some reason in the back of my head, if Walmart sells it, I won't carry it. I don't want to carry it. Why? This is why. I figured out why. I was thinking about it the other day. Like, what is it? Like, why won't you carry a knife that's being sold in Walmart? Like, why does it have to be sold by a knife company, or online or something like that? The reason why is because think about like a Gucci bag or a Louis Vuitton bag or a Ferrari or Porsche or something like that. Would you buy a Gucci bag from Walmart? Really think about that. I know a lot of you don't buy Gucci, whatever brand, right? If it's like a really high end brand, you like the separation of it away from that. Like the the Walmart type of market, the fast produced, make it as fast as you can, get it on the shelf and sell it type of products. You kind of want it separated from that a little bit. You want to separate, and I know it's just knives. I know it's not that big of a deal, but I just think of it like that I don't want it on those shelves. If it's on those shelves, I don't want it in my pocket because I don't want to be like, I consider myself like a knife guy, a knife snob. Okay. Fuck it. I'll be a knife snob. If I run into somebody, I don't want to have the same knife in my pocket as them, unless if it's a knife guy. And I mean, like, just like a regular guy who buys Walmart knives. That's my point. A guy who just not a regular, he's a knife guy because he carries a knife. Let's say he's a knife guy because he carries a knife, but he's not part of the community. He only has that one knife. He bought it at Walmart. I don't want to have the same knife as that guy. I just don't. I want to have a little bit better quality so I can show it off a little bit. Call it knife snobbery. I don't care. But that's where I'm at. I don't know why I don't respect it anymore. I used to like it. I used to literally, when I used to go to Walmart, I used to, well, either one, I had to try to stay away from the knife aisle, or two, I was like it was like a magnet. I was going to it no matter what. Every time I went in there, just to look through the badass Kershaws. Now, I do it for fun, but it's not something I want to carry. You know what I mean? Like, I want to carry something that is a little bit more seclusive. Is that the word? Inclusive? I don't fucking know the word. Okay, guys, I don't know the word. You guys know what I'm saying though. And all you guys are talking shit. I know. All you Ozark Trail, Gerber loving. Uh what's that one guy's name? The guy with the fixed blade. Bear Grylls screaming. Oh man. Just ask what blades steal. If they don't know, you know. Right. Right. Kara said that about somebody she was working with, and she's like, "Oh, what steel is that?" Some knife she had, some dude at work or whatever, and he goes, "Stainless." He's like, "Yeah, I know, but what kind of stainless?" And he's like, "What do you mean? What kind? It's stainless." So there's different kinds of stainless. It's like, yeah, there is. That's like saying it's wood. Well, what kind of wood? There's different kinds of wood. Yes. I did the same thing in the past, but I say don't walk over there. It's all junk. But what's up, bud? B. Wallace is in the house. I did the same thing in the past, but I say don't walk over there. It's all junk. I'm gonna walk over there just to look, just because I'm curious. I get the curiosity gets me. Like, oh, what are they doing these days? Let's go check it out. Just like even Bass Pro Shop. If I go to Bass Pro Shop, I'll never buy a knife from Bass Pro Shop because it's like $15 more than I can get it, and that's like the cheapest. Like, it's ridiculously expensive, so I'll never buy it. But I go there to look. Sometimes if they have some good knives, which sometimes they do, I'll ask to check it out. But yeah. Bear Grylls has a new knife model coming out. I'm sure he does. He's holding a contest to name it. The leading name is Piss Drinker. Oh my goodness. but they had to eliminate that entry. Yellow Stream is now the leader. Is that true? Is that true? Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh fuck. I walk by the knife counter every time we go to Walmart. Don't buy anything, but I look every time. Even when I bought it tenacious, I ordered it online. Dude, I got ripped off $72 for a Kershaw leak from Dick's Sporting Goods. A $40 knife I got for 70 bucks. I have $50 gift card to Cabela's. I'd rather take 25 cash. I see what you mean. But Cabela's, though, they got some good knives. I'm not trying to say these places don't have good knives because they do. Like, even some of the Kershaw's, great knives. Some of the Cabela's knives, great knives. I just personally don't want to walk around with the knife in my pocket. I'd rather walk around with something else. You guys know what I mean. I mean, it's like being a car guy or any name the hobby, right? You want to walk around with something a little nicer, right? You'd hate to. This is what would happen. I would literally throw in the Kershaw whatever or the Gerber whatever, right? Or the Ozark Trail. I'd walk around and then I'd run right into a fucking knife guy, and he would wind up having a custom or some sort of badass knife, and then I'd be like, I promise you, I'm a real knife guy. Don't judge me on the knife I got on me today, but I got the Ozark Trail. Come on, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't be the guy the one time because it happened to me before where my Uber driver wound up being a half-ass knife guy, like not like a real as hot like you guys know what I mean. But he was a knife guy still, and I wanted to impress him with the knife I had. It wasn't very impressive. Every time I bought a multi-tool from Aldi, strictly for gardening, I mean, it's something I want to throw away at the end of the season rather than devote time for carrying it. I can get that. Something like that. Like, I understand those tools, like it makes sense. Um, Walt says, I do buy a knife every year at Bass Pro or Cabela's for Father's Day. It's a tradition, but I always say I'm overpaying. I get that too. Traditions are traditions, right? And regardless, it's a tradition. So you have to stick with it. In that case, like it's like you'd be damned not to do that. Like you kind of have to do that. Um, and I think I find that's cool. Like that makes sense. It kind of warms my heart. Checking in from on the edge. What's up, Sergeant? Salute. Everybody salute to the sergeant. I hope you guys are following his channel. I like walking past a knife case with my bench in my pocket. Want to look at some knives? Nope, I'll pass. I think it's hilarious when I walk up to the knife counter, at Bass Pro, and I already know the guy doesn't know much, and he wants to sell me a knife. So he's gonna say like the key phrases that gets everybody, like you know what I mean, like the dumb phrases that I can see right through and honestly know he doesn't even know what any of the lingo he's talking about means. Like he doesn't have a clue. And he thinks it's cool. Like, and I understand he does. And I'm not like talking shit. I think for him, it's cool, right? And I get that. And I don't try to like act like that guy, like it's not cool. I obviously act impressed and everything, but a lot of times I wind up teaching him something, which I find fun. I wind up teaching him something about, I don't know, steel or something. And, it winds up being entertaining. And you never know what you can learn from somebody. I remember one time I met a guy. He was a good old boy. He was an older guy, knife guy, a little behind, like in like the knife knowledge, but man, he was very smart. He was teaching me shit left and right. Pretty cool dude. You ask the English to name a what? You ask the English to name a boat, and they come up with that name. Then they ask the English about Brexit. Ha ha ha. I don't get that one. Huh. I don't remember that. Yeah, teaching him how to put a dual edge on his knives. Yeah, I had one guy. He came in and he was gonna buy an electric pull-through sharpener, and the guy behind the counter knew enough to know that that's not a good idea. And we were sitting there talking to him, and then he wound up getting, because you could tell he wasn't gonna freehand. Right, he was older. You know, he wasn't gonna freehand. So we wound up talking him in. Me and the other guy wound up talking him into getting one of the work sharps, the belt sharpener, way better than that damn pull through he was about to get. Like an electric pull through. Oh fuck! I can only imagine. Okay, so we are not going to get to these last 2 pages. It looks like. Man, some good stuff here, guys. I always get the good stuff on the last pages because I start getting a flow down of topics I want to talk about. Damn it. But this is something I do want to talk about really quick, just because it has to do with the next next lives. I thought about doing word of the day. So every live have a word, and that word we explain the definition of it. So I didn't get one today, but I was just thinking about it. So next time we're going to have a word of the day every week from now on, like plunge grind, or carbides, or something, right? Something from knives that it holds somewhere in the knife realm. And I think that would be cool. And say the definition. That way people can learn what some of these definitions are, because you're always going to have the people that are sitting there like, the fuck is a detent? What is a detent? Everybody keeps saying detent. I don't know what a detent is. Right? Oh, lock bar insert? The fuck is a lock bar insert? Anti-establishmentarianism. Thank you, Eric. Okay. Story time. What's a knife? Right. What's a knife? What's the definition of knife? How many people are in there? 77 people. So the story I wrote down, I'm almost questioning whether or not I should talk about. Steel, forged, and fire, sword and knife. Thank you for the donation, Maurice. I'll go check them out. Steel, forged, and fire, sword, and knife. I will definitely go and check them out. What is a Rockstead? We forgot all about Rocksteads here, didn't we? No, we haven't. No, we haven't. Word of the day, modified Warncliffe. So, a modified, a crazy son of a bitch, Breeze. Crazy son of a bitch. What is a Neeve? He says. All right, so what is a modified Warncliffe? So a modified Warncliffe is going to be, so a Warncliffe is typically, this is an exact example of a real Warncliffe. Right here is a real Warncliffe. It starts from the spine, slowly tapers all the way down to the edge. The edge has to be perfectly flat to be a real Warncliffe. That is a Warncliffe. Now, when you take this edge and you make it not straight, it's not perfectly straight. So say from here, it goes up a little bit. That would be a modified Warncliffe. Or say if you bring this up a little bit and say this, instead of going just slowly down, say there's a little corner right here, kind of like how this one has a little corner right there, but this one's a little, it's barely there. But like say if it had a heavy corner, say if it went bink and then bink down, you know, like it actually had a corner up there, well then that would be a modified Warncliffe, because it's so close to a Warncliffe blade shape you can't call it anything else, but it's not an exact Warncliffe. What? No. Nomenclature. Okay. A straight sheep's foot. So a sheep's foot was originally made for sheep's foot. Like that's it's not called the sheep's foot because of the blade shape. It's called the sheep's foot because of the task it was made to do. And a sheep's foot is going to have some belly. So a sheep's foot's not technically perfectly straight. A sheep's foot's going to have some belly. It's going to have a straight right here, and then it's going to have a hook or whatever you want to call it. It's going to taper down to the tip, kind of like this. But like a real sheep's foot would be like this. That's a sheep's foot. See how it goes like this, and then it clips down. And the reason why was so that they could get into hooves, and it didn't have an acute tip. Like it didn't have a tip like this, where you're just stabbing things. You have enough belly in there, like to get down in there and like really scrape out, debris and stuff like that, and to cut around the hooves and help shave them and stuff without having to worry about stabbing into the animal. It can have a straight edge. Traditionally, I don't think traditionally it did. I think traditionally it had a little bit of belly. But because a Warncliffe traditionally had the straight edge. But that was made by Lord Warncliffe. It was made from, but a sheep's foot, though, it was originally designed to not have much of a tip. Like kind of like a spay point in a way, but not really. A spay point obviously was for spaying animals. So, but yeah, there we go. Eric, like a spay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was a fixed blade. It was like a dagger, kind of like a short sword. He just wanted a special one. He wanted something designed specifically for him. And you can read the story. I actually did a video on blade shapes and talked all about it. I talked all about all the blade shapes, the majority of them, their history, and then what we use them for now. 3 more for 100? Really? Man, I can't believe these analytics guys. Holy shit. It's crazy. And I know it's just a spike and it's going to drop back down, but I'm riding the wave. I'm riding the wave. Call me a surfer. Yeah, Rusty. A lot of times it's the spine that's the difference, which can make all the difference. And why? Like I've heard people say this, well, it has the same cutting edge, right? Like say if I take, and I'm just taking 2 knives, it doesn't matter. But like say if I take these 2 knives, well, not these 2, any 2 knives, and I say they have the same cutting edge. Like if you put them next to each other and they wind up having the same cutting edge, but the only thing that's different is the spine. What makes it different? Well, the reason why is because that spine is going to determine where the leverage that you put into it, where the pressure goes. So like a Warncliffe, right? A Warncliffe, a lot of the pressure winds up going directly to the tip. So if you push down, it's going to go directly to the tip. You're going to be able to get all your force and leverage into that tip. Now, say a drop point, when you do that, it's going to go into the belly, right? It's going to go into the belly. So, like, depending on how the spine is made, depends on where the pressure because the pressure runs down the spine of the blade to whatever part of the edge that it's made for. So the spine is a big factor in how that thing's going to perform. Never understood the point of harpoon tip. Well, a harpoon tip is supposed to help bring the thickness of the spine down to the tip where it makes it more durable for penetration. So like think about an actual harpoon that you throw into whales or whatever, right? It's supposed to have a lot of penetration. Well, the same concept with a harpoon blade shape, except for it's going to have a lot of penetration while still carrying strength to the tip. So you're supposed to be able to use it without breaking the tip, basically. Because some drop points, they might have a tapering spine down to the tip, like say a spider toe, where it'll be less durable. A harpoon will bring more steel down to the tip. And it also increases the pressure you can put into the tip when you're using it. Well, the hell do liner lock knives seem to disappear at around 200 to 250 price point? It's frustrating for those of us who aren't crazy about frame locks. Well, Gilbert, there's access locks, compression locks, button locks, and bolster locks. I think that's what you should look for. Look for bolster locks because a bolster lock is going to be a frame lock that's covered. So it's not going to be a liner lock. It'll be a bolster lock, which I think is what you're looking for because a bolster lock is one, it's very nice, and you wind up getting it in those higher price ranges without it being a liner lock. Now, if you want the expensive liner locks, look for titanium liner locks. Tucson does a bunch of great frame lock liner locks where they're basically a frame lock, but they have scales on the side, so they are a liner lock. And really good quality. I guess somebody really couldn't behave themselves at SeaWorld. Facts. Tony, I literally have that knife in my hand right now. You'd be disappointed. Thank you, Caleb, if you're talking about me. What are your thoughts on the Wii Mini Buster? I liked it. I thought it was a great knife. I think Snex does amazing stuff. Watching him on Instagram, some of the shit he does with his customs, it's mind blowing. So for him to bring designs to Wii and Wii making them, it's insane. I think that level of build quality is just it's incredible. So I like them. Pena makes a sexy bolster lock front flipper, probably king as far as production knives go. Yeah. Pena is fantastic. Cue Ball says the 328 is a nice liner lock. Yes, for sure. Only bad thing is I have to wait a month until I get to mess with it. Yeah, that is the one thing. But all is good when you get it. It really is. It's worth the wait. And if you do it right, you can have one coming in every week. You just gotta, once you buy one, make sure you buy one every week. That's how you do it. And then you always got one coming in. But yeah, the wait does suck, but man, it's so worth it once you get it. And if you look around, you do find some USA sellers. I find them all the time. So later, Samurai. Thank you for joining us. By the way, Jared, been bringing your content, been binging your content, and I'm hooked. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody that watches the content, especially the bingers. Make sure you turn it on at night when you go to sleep. Help me get that damn AdSense. Sometimes I throw that ad right in at the end for you guys that like to pass out during my videos. Okay, it is story time, but I figured some people would leave and I wouldn't have to bring it to their attention. So sometimes I don't know why I write down some of these stories because these stories are not good for you guys. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so a lot of you guys know, some of you guys don't, that I used to be a bad guy. All right. I used to be a real bad guy and I'm not proud of it. It's nothing to be proud of. And I'm obviously changed person and I'm not who I used to be. But I do have a long history of bad shit. So, me and a friend, right? Let's just say friend. We're out doing bad things, and we had scoped out a bunch of licks. Now, with my criminal record, looking at it, it's 99.99999.9% I got away with. So I'm a very, very lucky person. Very, very lucky person to have gotten away with everything that I did. Right. Yes, I got caught for a couple things. Yes, I did get in some trouble. Yes, I did do my time, whatever you want to call it. But when one of these days and nights where I was being a hellion. We were out scoping out licks that we already had pre-planned and set up, right? So we'd have like certain licks pre-planned and set up to go and hit and break into, rob, whatever, right? And we'd have these things planned and set up over time because we would watch their movements, their times, their schedules, their this, their that, right? See if it's a good lick at all, right? It's why I talk about sometimes not looking like don't look like somebody who's a good hit, right? And I've talked about that before on how not to. Anyways, so we're out and it's getting to a part of a time where it's going to be too late. Like we got to do it now or not. And we need to do it, right? We need to do it because we need the money bad. So since we need the money really bad, when you get that desperate, you'll almost do anything, right? So it is at that point. And it does wind up becoming a level of survival in your mind, right? So you have to. Yeah, right. Don't be a mark. Exactly, Maurice. Don't be a mark. But at a certain point, it is a level of survival. And, when you feel like, or when it really is at that point to where, you're doing everything you can to survive, you're going to do whatever you have to do. Anyway, so we get to this lick and everything looks good. But like I said, we're crunching time, right? It has to be done right now and fast. So park in the back, go up the little schmitty, and we have rules and we have signals, right? Certain rules we never break. We never break these rules. This is what keeps us from getting caught. And if you hear the signal, doesn't matter what you're doing, drop everything you're doing, get the fuck out. No excuses, right? So I'm the go man, right? This time around, I'm the go man. I'm going in. And so I go and do my thing and I go inside and I'm specifically looking for only one thing in particular. Well, two things in particular, right? I'm only looking for two things. I don't really give a shit about everything else. And if I can't find those one or two things, which usually I can because I wouldn't be hitting it otherwise, right? Because I do my homework. So I would maybe grab something else if which is very rare because I'm gonna know that it's a good spot. Anyway, so I'm in there and while I'm in there, I gather up the stuff. It winds up being a pretty good one or bad one, however you want to look at it. And I know this is bad shit, guys. Trust me. I hate myself for this stuff. So I'm in there, I'm doing my thing, doing it quick, everything's going smoothly. Then all of a sudden I hear the signal to go. That means that there's a potential threat coming, right? So I have what I have, right? And I keep it on me, right? I put it on me so my arms are free for the most part, right? I'm kind of holding, I think, something like in my armpit because I have like a jacket on. Not really holding something, but like I have stuff in my pockets. My pockets are way down. I look kind of big because I'm wearing a big coat. And I get to the door to get out. And normally when you're in a place, most places you plan your exit. The second you go in, your exit's already getting planned. You don't go in and just go start doing your shit. You go in and you plan your exit first. That's the first thing you do. This does not have another exit. One way in, one way out. That's it. So, my driver had to switch positions and there was no way for me to know, right? But anyways, so when I go out, so I'm getting out now, right? Because I heard the signal, gotta go, drop everything, gotta go. I get to the door and I'm coming out, and dude is right there in front of me. So I had to give him a one piece, no sauce, and get the fuck out of there. And because I just not like I wanted to hurt him or anything. I just needed him not to chase me, you know. or not to grab me, really. Which I don't think he would have. I think he was scared. I don't think he was prepared for me coming out of his shit. But so I gave him a one piece to the jaw, and I hit the corner, and I had my luckily, because we have everything planned. It's funny, but it's not though, right? So we already have everything planned, so my driver's already ready, knowing what what I'm gonna do, right? You have a mindset with your partner to where you guys know what each other's gonna do, and he knows I'm gonna bend this corner, right? I'm because I can't go where the car was. I can't do that. He already knows I can't because he knows I'm gonna see this. He knows this is gonna happen. There's no way for him to tell me it's going to happen, but he already knows what's going to happen. So he knows I'm coming out. I'm going to have to come out fighting, and he already knows that's going to happen. So when I come out, I do that, and I turn left, and I hit the corner, and he's right there, right? So now I got to make it to the vehicle. Made it to the vehicle, and got out of there. Dude tried running behind, getting the plates and this and that. Later on, like the next day or something, in the paper was the explanation of me, and I probably shouldn't explain it, but it was very off. Let's just say that wasn't even close. I was a Hispanic and all kinds of other shit, fat and like just a bunch of shit, and it was totally off. Even the vehicle was off. Everything was off, but yeah, I guess I got real lucky on that one. And yeah, it yeah, oh, for sure, for sure. I'm a completely different person. This was years and years ago, so I've definitely changed my life around. It was very desperate times, you could say. The lives we lived. Dog is a dog. B&E, a B&E, yep, a B&E. That was intentional. That was very intentional. It was very, very intentional. Um, but yeah, it's not something I'm proud of, and 90% of them never ended like that. 90% of them were not like that at all. Only a couple of them ended like that. So, unless if it was on a different story, like you trying, and I did wind up getting, charged with shit of that nature. So, not from that, but when you were a 20 piece, but they only give you one no sauce. Right. Exactly. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't trying to put any sauce on it. What you get in Pawfish? You've got to know where you come from to know where you're going. That's so true. That is so true. And I think it's important to know what you're capable of. And I lived such a fucked up way of life that I know, like, one, um what I'm capable of and what the positions not to put myself in, but not just that, because anybody, even you guys, and this kind of irritates me when some people say, "Oh, I would never do that. I'd never do that," but you've never been put in a position to where you had to. So you can't say that unless if you have been put in certain positions. Now, I do agree some people would do different decisions or whatever, but you never know what you're going to do when you feel like it's what you have to do to survive. But anyways, I do think it's important to know what you're capable of and what you will or won't do in certain situations, especially for the future, right? I think truck right now. Oh fuck. Must be Chicago slang. um Some people say the Tenacious isn't very good, but I think it's a decent knife. What would you guys say? I'd say it's a good knife. I think it's a great knife. It's HCR. Didn't they improve the steel? I think they might have changed the steel, but when it was HCR, it was a cheap steel, but a great knife, cheap steel. Uh, Self-awareness is key for sure, for sure. I think knowing What's up? King of Dummies. Thank you, bud. Thank you for the donation every day. EDC. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I think also just like in order to turn like with me, right? Like I knew what I was leaving and what I wanted to get away from. So, like my life now is so different, and however you guys can imagine, trust me, it was way worse. So like the stories I don't tell, those are the so it does it was pretty bad. And I think being able to, I don't know, repent and change everything around, and get back to good, and knowing, like, I don't even know how I'm trying to say this, but I had a lot to gain, so it's a beautiful thing looking back, and knowing where I came from, and knowing what I'm not going back to, and knowing how not to wind up in that position again. Uh, and if I told you the line of how getting to that position, like it's fucked up. Like it's beyond fucked up. That's a whole nother story. So, everybody gets dealt a different hand. So, it's hard to judge somebody. Like it's kind of like at a card table, right? It's hard to judge how somebody played their hand, right? If you're not holding that hand. So I have an S35 version, Tenacious, at almost 100. I didn't even know they made higher versions than like HCR. I've only ever seen them in HCR. Look back at what you did in here. Right. And I think that's very important to make it right, and to do right, and to know, and that's why I can talk about it, because like I know where I'm at, and I know, where I'm going and what I'm doing, that isn't even a thought. And it's the past. So when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about it like in a funny way, like it's the past, this is what happened, yada yada. Like it's not something that happens now, and I'm so different than the way I was. So it is funny. There's some funny ass stories. Let me tell you, some hilarious ass stories. And I find it humorous, right? Find it humorous because of that. Because thinking about it now, like trying to put myself in that mindset, it's almost impossible. Um, but even, even taking away like addiction and anything like that, just, being in certain positions I was in, it does get crazy. And I'm blessed to not be in them positions anymore. I'm so blessed to not be in those positions anymore. And it does take a lot of work to get out of that. And that's what it wound up taking. It wound up taking, getting in trouble and all kinds of shit to wake up and say, man, is this going to be the rest of my life? Like looking at prisoners, and sitting in cells and listening to, guards tell me what to do and all this shit. It's like, fuck that, man. And you wind up, turning it around. It's like, it's either going to be one or the other, pick one. And when you pick, work hard at it, whichever one it's going to be. If it's going to be this way, well, fucking, you better work really hard at it then. And if it's going to be a good shit, and it's going to be getting your shit back together, and, then you better work really hard at it. So that's what I did. And I just put everything into it. And I put my all into it every single day. And even turning around like health wise, right? Because then I started thinking about health wise, like, man, what the fuck have I done to my health? So I start thinking like, man, I got to get them years back. So then I start eating healthy, working out, lots of water, tons of vitamins, and just like doing all this shit to like get them years back. And then it's like the relationships, right? Getting healthy relationships with people that are not criminals, right? Um, and getting that level of respect, and standing on your word. And because I was always like that, I was always very trusted and everything else like that. Like I never had problems with that. I was always that type of guy. I was always very reliable. I was always all that shit. So taking that and actually putting it into even better, right? And I guess using it to my benefit instead of to my demise, right? Like because there are ways to do it. Like you can totally take it and turn it to shit because you're trustworthy, because you have a good word, because your word is your bond and all those things. You can totally take that and put it into negative shit. And but when you turn into positive and you put all that effort into positive, it's so much more beneficial. So, isn't Kara a criminal? Didn't she kill people in storybooks and video games? Yes, she was a hitman. I'm glad we all survived. The life can really kick your ass back. Yes, so true, Spanky. So true. Love that Stasa 23 shit. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The back of it looks fire too. Check out the back of it again so you guys can see. Make sure you guys get that Stasa 23 merch. Shit's fire. You got out and you're a totally real person, or you wouldn't spell it. You put judgment on yourself. I understand. I respect you more. Thank you. And yes, I definitely do. I definitely put judgment on myself, and that's why I can talk about it, because I'm so honest about where I'm going and what I'm doing that it doesn't. It did bother me in the beginning to talk about it, because you don't want people getting the wrong impression of you. And some of the stories I could tell, it's difficult to not think that somebody might not look at you different. And so, but I know, right? I know what I'm gonna do and how much I'm willing to do to do good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to go so far to do good that it doesn't matter like what anybody else, like, say, if other people are willing to judge me for that and hold it against me, that's fine. I deserve it. So do it. But I'm still going to work just as hard, and I'm not going to let nothing hold me back. So, and in that case, it doesn't matter if I talk about it, because I'm just going to work just as hard. And anybody that does wind up holding it against me, like I said, I'm just going to work twice as hard. So thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. So far, a good weekend for sports. AJ got beat up and some damn good cuts. Man, I can't believe what happened to, or I guess I can believe it. But John Jones, oh, man, he got locked up again. He was supposed to be going to like the UFC Hall of Fame in Vegas, and then got a domestic. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he slapped around his girlfriend or what he did. I don't even think that was the bad part. I think that was a misdemeanor, like just a misdemeanor domestic, which, whatever. But then he got tampering with a car or some shit. So I'm guessing he was trying to get out of the cop car or something. I don't know. Yeah, Jones does need some help for sure. Something's going on with him. And it's weird because when you listen to him talk, he seems level-headed. He really does. He seems not when he's drunk. I'm saying, like, when you hear him just talking regularly, he seems very level-headed, very genuine. But it's obviously all a ploy. You can tell it's a ploy at this point, because if it wasn't, he wouldn't be getting into the trouble he does. He literally, every time he goes to Vegas, something happens. So supposed to be right. He's supposed to be doing. He has the world in his hands, and he's definitely got some issues. He needs some real therapy. Bad. Like, that dude needs so much therapy. I can see it, and it's sad because he has the potential to be the greatest on the planet right now. Literally the greatest in the world. Faster you realize the only person's opinion of you that matters is your own, the better off you'll be. Everyone else shall go fuck themselves. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Breeze. That's so true too. It's so true. And because that is the most important. Your inner voice and what you say to yourself and how you talk about yourself and how you think about yourself is so devastating or so beneficial, one of the two, because you can easily downgrade yourself and just be emotionally toxic to yourself. And it puts you on a path that makes you become that, because that's how you talk to yourself. And that's what you say about yourself. And that's what you think about yourself. But doing it, in a positive way and speaking good about yourself. And like, even like with like the little things, right? Like, instead of saying, like, I worked on this for a long time, saying like, I'm going to try to work out in the morning, right? And I'm just using that as, something, but I'm going to try. Instead of doing that, you start saying, I am, or I must, something like that. Like, I must work out in the morning, or I'm going to work out in the morning at 8:30 in the morning, right? Like, you're just like talking to yourself like that, or like, I try to be responsible, or I try to be a good guy, stuff like that. Like, in your mind, I'm saying, like, instead of talking like that, just be more positive. Be like, no, I am that. That's who I am, and that's what I do. And you get so much better results in your responsibilities and behaviors and everything. Oh, for sure. I've definitely been on both sides, for sure. Oh yeah. I really don't understand completely serrated knives. Use one. You'll see. If you haven't used one, then it's hard to see the benefits of it. He keeps saying the same comment. Oh fuck. Buying an XM18 or the ZT. I need to tell myself I will go cut grass tomorrow. Yeah. If you got to cut your grass, get the fuck on that shit. Why are you letting your grass get long, man? Why are you letting your grass get long? Yeah, just don't even say it like that. Just tomorrow I'm cutting the grass at this time. And there's I like to say, like, with me, there's non-negotiables. Non-negotiables. So there's certain things that no matter what, every day, I have to do. It's not negotiable. And those things not only keep you in line, but keep your mind healthy and keep just like your thoughts and everything just so productive and so beneficial. And then there's like the things like the 3 days a week thing, right? They're like, for like at least 3 days a week, this is non-negotiable. So if you get down to the end of the week and you only have 3 days left, well, then you're doing the next 3 days in a row, so. But if you set up non-negotiables, man, it benefits you so much, because you wind up getting so disciplined, because discipline's what it's all about. It's all about discipline. If you can't be disciplined, you will fail with anything and everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It's kind of like showing up to work on time, right? If you're not disciplined with showing up to work on time, you're going to lose your job. If you're not disciplined with brushing your teeth, you're going to lose your teeth. If you're not disciplined with whatever, name it, you're going to fuck up. So just being disciplined in specific areas in your life, you have no way to fail if you do that. And once you figure that out and you figure out those 5 things in your life, whatever it is, like the 5 things for you, life is so much easier. Like, and it's so much happier and just so much more beneficial. And you feel good, even just thinking and talking about it, because you're so disciplined to those things. And the behavior, it winds up becoming you, right? Instead of it being like, just something you're doing, it winds up becoming a habit, and then the habit becomes you, and that's who you are. And then it's just, it winds up becoming fun, and you enjoy it, and you see the benefits from it, whatever it is. I used to have issues with that and ended up in rehab camp and improved my life tenfold. I was gonna tell a rehab story, because I went to rehab once and left. I've never really went to rehab. I went to rehab one time and I fucking left. Almost fighting my way out too. Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Um, why, you didn't have a live tonight, did you? I don't think you did. I seen Lefty went live. He goes live every other week. I thought about like figuring out a way, because I hate that we overlap, and I hate to hurt his live or him hurt mine. But I thought about trying to figure something out where we can like work around it or something. Because he went live right when I was supposed to start, but I got messed up because of my damn internet. I was late. I was late. Mike is making popcorn. Mr. Emler. Good life advice. Absolutely, absolutely. Extreme ownership of self. Fuck yeah. I'm disciplined on doing a good deed every day. It makes me look for ways to step out of my shell to help other people. That is so good. That's such a smart thing. Helping other people. I read this thing and it was talking about how we only get joy through helping others. And I don't think that's 100% true, but I do think that the helping others is so much more rewarding than doing something for yourself, that it can influence really good behaviors. And helping other people is so beneficial to you. You know, it is really good to do. Got caught up in some floating fish and fully straightened knife did its job. Snag and pull. Have a good night, Damn Sharp. See you later, Damn Sharp. Yeah, we're about to take off in about 5 minutes. Um, any come on. Anyone hold the Spyderco cue ball? How awesome is that knife, and how much does the damn lock piss you off? I don't even know that knife at all. Like, not at all. I can't even think of it. Um, I was gonna look up this one chef knife that I seen on. It's called the Shun Sora. It's at Knife Center. I heard Knife Center talking about it. It's in this one weird steel, but I guess that steel is like 13C27. It's almost like a 14C, but it's like their makeup of it. It looked pretty cool because I said before, man, I'd love to get a chef knife in 14C28N. Well, it's not quite 14C, but it's damn close. It's like a spinoff of AEBL, but I guess it winds up becoming 13C27, but it's called something weird. And it's called the Shun Sora. There is only one thing that I really do for myself, but I usually do that in the shower because the cleanup is easier. Bang. There you go. That's what I was thinking. Shun makes some good knives. Yeah, I've never had one, Theo, but it looked like a good knife. And I believe he said that right now it's like $45 cheaper than it will be like next week. So it's like a really good deal right now. Yeah, I know. Cue Ball actually has one. Um, I don't know if it's that exact one, but he's got one of them. It looks badass. Everyday EDC, I love my cue ball. I love the ergos, and I can deal with the ceramic ball lock. Oh, so you have to grab the ball. I don't know exactly what knife it is, but I know what lock it has now. I don't know why they wouldn't just put a cage on that. Yeah, in hand, it's cool as hell, like a little native with a warning, but the lock is so hard to access. That's why I don't know why they wouldn't put a cage on it, because trying to grab a ball, that's just ridiculous. Kills. Okay, so that is the 999. Okay, so I'm actually gonna be getting it pretty soon, so I can test out. I'm gonna do a video. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Look what I got. It came in. Bang! Got that bitch. So the video will be coming very soon. I will try to get it up, not tomorrow, but soon, real soon. So that's going to be awesome. But I thought about doing a how I sharpen my kitchen knives video. So how I sharpen my chef knives and kitchen knives, because I was going to do a video on like my sharpening service and like the different prices and what you get for different prices and blah, blah, blah. But I think the chef knife video might be pretty cool because I think people Like me, I do my chef knives different than I do my EDC knives. It's a completely different way I sharpen, different stones or different system. Now, I do two different ways with chef knives. It just depends on what I want to do. Because a lot of times I use a belt sharpener for kitchen knives. But if I really want to get a nasty sharp edge, then I'll use stones. Jared, do you have the Spyderco Tenacious? I do not have the Spyderco Tenacious. I do not. I'm sorry. I do not have the Tenacious. And Maurice has one, and he likes it like a motherfucker. A lot of people like it, man. That's a good knife. I think it's a good way to get into Spidey flicking for sure. I can imagine now the D10's probably crisp on that thing. Tell you what, guys, these damn new Kubies, holy shit, are they good? These things are so good. They're so awesome, man. The D10s are so well tuned on these. I can't believe how good these new Kubies are. Not a big fan of the clip, but damn it, these things are good. Listen to that lockup. That is so good. Let's listen to this one. A little different, a little like heavier. The other one's a lighter one, but that blade shape. Look at that blade. That is so wicked. Swicked. I like a super acute bevel on my chef knives. I make sure I only cut on a cutting board though. Yeah, I try to too, but you know, there are those times when you improvise and you wind up cutting something on a plate that you try not to damage the edge on, but I sometimes use the electric belt because it's fast, it's easy, it's convex edge. It makes a really sharp convex edge, which is a tougher edge. But there are a lot of times where I just put it right to the stone because I want that stupid sharp edge. But usually, I mean, fixed blades, kitchen knives, things like that, I can sharpen them really fast on the belt. And those edges last a long time because they're tougher. Man, this lockup sound. Man, that sounds so good. Listen to that. These new Kubies, man, I'm telling you, try one of these new ones. Not the Vagrant, though. The Vagrant's good, but man, I just don't like that hole. It's so chamfered. It's okay. Like, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. This is still a really good knife. But the first three, this one, and the 321, holy shit, these things are awesome. Bang, lock up. Yeah, they are D2, except for the Vagrant. The Vagrant's OS 10. But Kubi does a pretty good job with the D2. Pretty good job. It's all about stropping and a good compound. Well, with a convex edge, like with chef knives with a convex edge, you can keep that edge going for a long time with stropping. Stropping, it's how do I put this? It's very responsive to a convex edge. A V grind, if you hold the angle perfect and all that other shit, it's the same, but it's harder to hold your angle perfect than it is with the convex, because the convex, as you're rolling it across the leather, you know, like on my arm, you know, it does that. So you're automatically getting the benefits of the strop on a convex edge. Did you look at the Asher knife Century? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. We talked a little bit about that. Yeah, it sucks, man. I don't know what he's gonna do, but hopefully he either figures it out with those guys or gets another OEM. And then think about it. Listen, what happens? What's the result? Say he leaves. Let's say Asher leaves and says, I'm not working with this OEM no more. They've fucked me over, right? He leaves. Now he's gonna have to go pay more money at a different OEM, most likely. I'm not saying that's a for sure. He might be able to do business like with QSP or something, which is very respectful. It might cost a little bit more, but what's the other result? It winds up costing more, and that fucking OEM is ripping your shit off still. Think about it. Who's to say he's going to stop? Who's to say he's not, you know what I mean? What he would have to do if he really wanted to get away from it, he would have to get rid of those designs. You'd have to say, fuck these designs, and literally put out there, these are my designs, right? If you guys have them, you guys have them already. You cannot buy this design anymore. Any design sold from this date is a clone. That's what he'd have to do. That's tough. That's tough. If I make you a knife, will you review it? I think it would be a fun challenge to design one for you. What kind of knife? Like a folder or a fixed blade? Tell me, like a fixed blade? I want to design a knife bad. Someone in the community said they could help me out with some CAD work. I feel bad, but so I'll probably talk to them and see if I could just pay them. Yeah, I'd check it out. Pacow. I'd check it out. Oh yeah. Which is more harder to sharp? Tanto or serrated? Oh, serrated. It's not that it's harder, it's just more time. And you know what? I take that back. Is it depends. Because a serrated, you don't have to do the serrations. You can, so if the serrations are on this side, right? You just flip it over and you sharpen this side, which will inevitably sharpen the serrations. That's how you start sharpening serrations. Now, after a while, you're going to have to come to this side and hit the serrations with a rod. So when you get to that point, if like say if the serrations are damaged really bad, then yes, the serrations are going to take longer just because it just takes more time. But if it's just dull, that's quick. You just hit it up, you just sharpen it on the other side. So it just depends on the damage. Oh, no problem, Pog. No problem. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for all the donations. You guys are amazing. Man, these fucking analytics, guys. These analytics are off the chain. And I can't believe every time I do a live and I talk about it, the next day it's just even bigger. Like since we've been live, we've gained, I don't know, over 60 followers since we've been live. So in the past 2 hours, that's crazy. It's saying 3.9 thousand every 28 days. That's crazy. Hey, Pacal, thank you, man. Thank you for the donation, bud. I appreciate it. It's mind-blowing to me how fast this is going. Now, like I said earlier, I know this is just a wave and it will right back down. But wow, the wave is here. I'm fucking surfing. So we got 1 million views in 28 days this month. 1 million views. That's insane to me. I remember 60,000, like 20,000 was just mind blowing to me. Like, holy shit, I got 20,000 views in 28 days. I mean, even 10,000. I mean, I remember all these like little mile markers, and now it's 1 million views a month. That's just mind blowing. And then looking at the subscriber change and everything. And when I go to like the links and look at the how much you guys have been using the links, you guys are amazing, man. Keep it up. I do appreciate you guys using those links. It helps the channel so much. And like I said earlier, you don't have to actually buy that link. You can buy whatever you want. Just get there from the link and it will benefit the channel. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Not gonna act out that sticker, Jared. What do you mean? I did. Oh, what do you mean? What was it? Oh, here. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you to the moderators for being so awesome. Fiend, thank you for always putting up the links. I really appreciate it, man. I hope you get your car fixed, by the way. I forgot to say that. And You guys are awesome for hanging out with me. Peace.